Beyond the veil of appearances, reality is fluid, responsive, alive. In these teachings, you will discover how to bend reality using metaphysics by aligning with the eternal law of attraction that governs all creation. The universe mirrors your inner world with flawless precision, answering not your words, but your convictions. When you shift your energetic signature, the outer world must echo the change, and you awaken as the conscious architect of your destiny. How to bend reality using metaphysics. Introduction. In the depths of your being lies a power so vast, it shapes the very fabric of existence. This force, which the ancient ones called the Great Law, operates through the subtle vibrations of your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. Like a master weaver at an infinite loom, you continuously thread the tapestry of your reality through the quality of your consciousness. The law of attraction responds not to your surface wishes, but to the resonant frequency of your deepest convictions. When you understand this truth, you recognize that each thought carries the seed of creation. Your mind is not merely receiving reality, it is broadcasting it into being. This knowledge comes with sacred responsibility. As you awaken to your role as a conscious creator, you must cultivate awareness of the energetic signatures you emanate. Fear creates shadows, while love illuminates paths. Uncertainty breeds more questions, while conviction manifests answers. The universe mirrors back to you the exact frequency you project. When you vibrate in harmony with abundance, abundance flows. When you resonate with peace, peace surrounds you. This is not mysticism, it is the physics of consciousness itself. Your imagination serves as the blueprint room of reality. Within its walls, you sketch the designs that the universe will manifest. But remember, this power responds to the totality of your being, not just your conscious desires. Your subconscious beliefs, your emotional patterns, and your energetic signature all contribute to the reality you experience. To master this law requires more than positive thinking. It demands energetic alignment. You must become a conscious broadcaster of the frequency you wish to experience. The universe is not a wish-granting entity. It is a perfect mirror, reflecting back the exact quality of consciousness you embody. This wisdom, passed down through millennia, now rests in your hands. Use it with reverence, for you are working with the very forces that shape existence itself. Before we get into the book, comment "I am ready" to affirm your intention to the universe. Part 1. The Awakening of Awareness. Chapter 1. The Invisible Thread of Creation. In a quiet village among rolling hills, Ruthie walked the same paths each day, feeling as though life moved around her but never truly touched her. She worked in the local bakery, greeting familiar faces with a smile that masked her longing for something more. Yet, amidst this seeming invisibility, she began to notice curious patterns. One morning, while appreciating the warmth of sunlight through her window, she felt a surge of genuine gratitude. That very afternoon, a stranger left her an unexpected gift, a book of ancient wisdom. Small coincidences multiplied. Moments of heartfelt thanks preceded unexpected kindnesses. Pure joy preceded fortunate meetings. These experiences revealed a fundamental truth. The universe responds not to what we say, but to what we feel with unwavering certainty. Reality stretches like gossamer threads, reshaping itself to match the frequency of our deepest emotions. When your heart knows what your mind still questions, the world begins to shift. Danny, a merchant in a distant market town, discovered this truth through a different door. After years of prosperity, fear gripped him as markets turned uncertain. Each night he would lie awake, haunted by visions of loss. Until one morning he chose differently. Before opening his eyes, he began imagining the feeling of complete security, of abundance flowing effortlessly. He didn't just think about success. He allowed himself to feel it in every cell. As weeks passed, opportunities emerged as if summoned. New partnerships formed, innovative ideas sparked, and his business flourished beyond previous heights. His transformation came not from changing external circumstances, but from altering his internal frequency. The law remains constant. Harmony in emotion creates harmony in motion. The universe mirrors back precisely what you broadcast. This is not mere coincidence, but cosmic law, as reliable as gravity, as natural as breathing. Sacred practice. As dawn breaks each day before engaging with the world, rest in stillness. Feel the universe's loving presence surrounding you like a warm embrace. Sense the air itself responding to your trust, your knowing. Let gratitude fill your being until it overflows. Practice this not as a ritual of words, but as a merging with universal love. Watch as reality begins to soften and reshape itself, responding to your deepened awareness like clay warming beneath gentle hands. Chapter 2. The Mirror in the Mind. You have discovered a truth that many overlook. The world around you is but a mirror, faithfully reflecting the landscape of your inner beliefs. Just as Millie found herself caught in a cycle of relationships that seemed to echo the same notes of disappointment, you too may notice recurring patterns in your experiences. These patterns are not coincidence, but consciousness made manifest. The law of attraction operates with unwavering precision through your expectations. When Millie examined her heart, she uncovered beliefs of unworthiness buried beneath layers of hope. Each relationship had drawn to her exactly what she secretly believed she deserved. This is not punishment, but power. For in recognizing this truth, you gain the ability to transform your experience. Consider how your thoughts shape the lens through which you view life. When judgment clouds your vision, the universe presents more opportunities for judgment. When fear grips your heart, circumstances arise that validate that fear. This is not because the universe seeks to harm you, but because it responds with perfect accuracy to your dominant vibration. The story of Harold, the carpenter, illuminates this principle with elegant simplicity. Each morning, he would pause before his workbench, expressing genuine appreciation for his tools, the saw that would cut true, the hammer that would strike sure, the wood that would yield its beauty to his touch. This practice seemed small, perhaps even foolish to observers, yet as his gratitude deepened, so did the quality of his work. Customers began seeking him out, drawn by the distinctive care evident in every piece he crafted. Harold had stumbled upon a universal truth. Appreciation magnifies excellence. By focusing his attention on the inherent value of his materials and tools, he elevated the frequency of his entire workshop. The universe responded in kind, bringing him opportunities that matched his new vibration. This wisdom speaks directly to your journey. The experiences that surround you now reflect beliefs you may not even realize you hold. Yet within this understanding lies liberation. For as you shift your inner landscape, the outer must follow. Each evening, practice this ancient ritual of transformation. Stand before your mirror and gaze upon your reflection. Let your eyes soften with compassion as you imagine your reflection smiling back at you, whispering the truth. You are already whole. This is not mere affirmation, but a realignment of your entire being with the frequency of completeness. As you continue this practice, watch how life begins to reflect this new understanding back to you, transforming even your greatest challenges into expressions of divine love. Remember that resistance to what is only anchors those conditions more firmly in your reality. Instead, let gratitude become your constant companion, knowing that each circumstance, whether deemed positive or negative, serves your awakening to greater truth. Chapter 3: The Secret Language of Emotion. In this eternal dance of creation, a truth emerges through the story of Clara, whose pursuit of success through sheer determination led only to spiritual exhaustion. Like many, she had been taught that achievement comes solely through grueling effort and ceaseless striving. Yet the universe whispers of a different way. When weariness finally forced Clara to release her grip on constant doing, she discovered the invisible law that governs all manifestation. The frequency of joy attracts its matching reality. As she allowed herself to feel lightness before action, to savor anticipation before results, the world responded with a generosity that surpassed all her previous pushing and planning. Opportunities appeared as naturally as flowers turning toward sunlight, each one perfectly aligned with her newfound state of being. This reveals the sacred principle that has guided masters through the ages. Emotion is not merely a response to life's circumstances. It is the very force that shapes them. Your feelings are the architects of experience, the invisible blueprint from which physical reality takes its form. When you understand this, you realize that cultivating positive emotional states is not self-indulgent. It is the most practical action you can take. Consider Walter, whose garden struggled despite his diligent care. In a moment of inspiration, he began playing his cherished music near his plants, allowing genuine delight to flow through him at each tiny sign of growth. He did not force the feeling. He simply allowed his natural joy to radiate. Soon his garden flourished beyond all explanation, producing abundance that defied conventional wisdom. Walter's experience illuminates a fundamental truth. The universe responds not to the words we speak, or even the actions we take, but to the energetic signature of our being. His music and happiness created a frequency of thriving that the plants naturally aligned with, just as your emotional state creates a frequency that reality must match. The ancient wisdom becomes clear. Your feelings are not passive responses, but active instructions to the field of infinite possibility. Each emotion you cultivate sends ripples through the fabric of creation, attracting circumstances that resonate with its frequency. Sacred practice. Choose a time each day for this ancient ritual of emotional alchemy. Find a quiet space and bring your awareness to your heart center. Summon one pure feeling, perhaps the satisfaction of achievement, the relief of resolution, the awe of beauty, or the warmth of love. Let this feeling expand within your chest until it becomes almost tangible, as if you could taste sunlight itself. Hold this vibration, knowing it is your broadcast to the universe, your instruction for what reality will reflect back. This practice, passed down through generations of wisdom keepers, attunes your being to the frequency of harmony, calling forth experiences that match your chosen state. Chapter 4. The Art of Allowing. The wisdom of surrender flows through every dimension of existence. Through Nora's journey, you glimpse a fundamental truth about the nature of manifestation. Each morning, she would wage war against the world, cursing red lights, resenting delays, fighting against the natural rhythm of life itself. Her resistance created a fortress of tension, drawing more of what she opposed into her experience. Yet the universe operates not through force, but through frequency. When you push against what you don't want, you become energetically entangled with it. Your attention, even in resistance, feeds the very conditions you wish to change. Nora discovered this truth through exhaustion. The endless battle had drained her spirit until she could fight no longer. In that space of surrender, she stumbled upon a profound realization. Allowing is not passive acceptance, but rather a state of energetic intelligence. When you release resistance, you free the universal forces to rearrange circumstances in your favor. It is like stepping out of a rushing river, rather than fighting against its current. Eugene's experience with timepieces unveils this same principle through different eyes. As a watchmaker, he learned that the delicate mechanisms of life respond not to force, but to gentle attention. When frustration guided his hands, the intricate gears would resist, becoming more stubbornly misaligned. But when he approached his work with patience, breathing deeply, allowing the natural order to reveal itself, the watches seemed to repair themselves, their parts falling into perfect alignment as if by magic. This is not mere coincidence, but evidence of a deeper law. The energy of peace accomplishes what force cannot. When you release your grip on control, you enter a state of coherence with the universal flow. Solutions appear not through struggle, but through surrender. The power of allowing extends beyond mechanical repair into every aspect of existence. It is the art of stepping aside from your own resistance, creating space for miracles to enter. When you fight against what is, you remain locked in struggle. When you allow while holding your intention, you invite the universe to reveal smoother paths. Practice. Let these ancient words of wisdom guide your journey into surrender. I trust life's timing. Speak this phrase softly to yourself, feeling the tension dissolve with each repetition. Notice how the very air around you seems to soften, how silence itself becomes a gentle companion. Continue until you sense peace replacing the need for control. This is the gateway to true manifestation, not through force, but through faith in the perfect unfolding of all things. Chapter 5. The Magnetic Heart. When you allow life to flow, rather than forcing it into predetermined channels, you align with the natural current of manifestation. This truth revealed itself through Eugene, a watchmaker whose delicate work taught him the power of gentle persistence. Each timepiece contained its own rhythm, its own story. When he attempted to force the mechanisms into place, they resisted, gears grinding against his will. But in moments of surrendered attention, when his hands moved with patient reverence, the watches seemed to assemble themselves, each part finding its perfect position. The secret lies not in controlling circumstances, but in harmonizing with them. Like a river that flows around obstacles rather than fighting through them, your energy becomes most powerful when it moves in accordance with universal law. Resistance creates friction. Allowing creates flow. Betty's tale illuminates another facet of this principle. Her art remained hidden in shadows, captive to her fears of judgment. She had created a prison of perfection, believing her work needed to meet impossible standards before deserving the light of day. Yet the moment she released this resistance, when she allowed her authentic expression to emerge without judgment, something magical occurred. Her vulnerability became her strength. People responded not to technical perfection, but to the raw truth in her brushstrokes. The universe mirrors your inner state with unwavering precision. When you operate from authenticity rather than fear, you generate a magnetic field that draws others to your genuine light. This principle found beautiful expression through Calvin, who had spent years holding back words of appreciation. Once he began speaking the compliments that lived in his heart, life responded with extraordinary generosity. His simple choice to express genuine admiration created ripples of connection, drawing kindred spirits into his orbit. These stories reveal a profound truth. Allowing is not merely about accepting what is. It's about creating space for what could be. When you release the need to control outcomes, you open channels for universal intelligence to work through you. Ancient practice. Whenever feelings of invisibility arise, pause and place your hand over your heart center. Feel the warmth beneath your palm and envision a golden light pulsing outward from this sacred space. With each breath, let this radiance expand, carrying your authentic essence into the world. Trust that this vibration already resonates with those meant to recognize and cherish your true nature. Let this energy flow freely, without expectation or demand, knowing that your genuine self-expression is a beacon calling forth perfect matches to your spirit. Chapter 6. The Thought Sculptor. In a bustling marketplace, Lucy paced between stalls, her mind weaving disasters that hadn't yet occurred. With each step, she painted vivid scenes of potential failures, missed opportunities, broken promises, and countless what-ifs that clouded the very air around her. Day after day, these mental prophecies materialized with uncanny precision, not because fate decreed them, but because her thoughts had carved those very paths into existence. Then came the morning when Lucy discovered an ancient scroll tucked within her grandmother's chest. Its weathered chapters spoke of the mind as a sculptor's workshop, where every sustained thought chisels reality from the marble of infinite possibility. As she absorbed this wisdom, Lucy began to observe her thoughts with the keen eye of an artist. She noticed how her worries were not mere shadows, but blueprints her life obediently followed. The universe operates through an immutable law. Consciousness shapes circumstance. Your thoughts are not passive observers, but active creators, each one a seed planted in the fertile soil of possibility. When you dwell upon an image, be it of lack or abundance, fear or triumph, you infuse it with life force, nurturing it toward physical expression. This truth manifested clearly through Gordon, whose workshop became a testament to the power of focused imagination. Each evening, he would sit in silence, holding his inventions in mind until every detail gleamed with crystalline clarity. He visualized the curve of each component, the smooth operation of every mechanism. To others, his process seemed peculiar, a grown man sitting motionless, eyes closed, hands hovering in empty air. Yet one by one, his mental blueprints emerged into physical form, each invention bearing the exact signature of his sustained vision. The message is unmistakable. Your imagination is not fantasy, but a preview of potential reality. When you hold an image with unwavering attention, you create a magnetic field that draws the elements of its manifestation. Like iron filings aligning with a magnetic force, circumstances arrange themselves to match your dominant mental pictures. Ancient practice. As the first light breaks across the horizon, find a space of undisturbed quiet. Close your eyes and craft a single scene of fulfillment in your mind's eye. See the colors, hear the sounds, feel the textures of your desire realized. Make this vision so detailed that your body responds as though it were already real. Then carry this living picture within you throughout your day, like a melody playing softly in the background of your awareness. Let it become the lens through which you view every moment, for what you hold in sustained focus becomes the blueprint for tomorrow's reality. Chapter 7. The Frequency of Forgiveness. In the corridors of your mind lies a sacred studio where every thought becomes a chisel, every emotion the force that guides its stroke. Through generations, masters have whispered of this truth. Your consciousness sculpts reality with the precision of an artist shaping stone. What manifests in your world first existed as an image held steady in your mind's eye. You have felt this power, though perhaps without recognizing its significance. Each worry etched into your thoughts eventually emerges as circumstance. Each hope maintained with clarity gradually materializes into form. This is not coincidence, but cosmic law. The universe responds not to what you say, but to what you hold as truth in the quiet chambers of your imagination. Let us examine how this principle unveiled itself to Edith, whose life had become a gallery of past hurts. For decades, she preserved memories of betrayal like precious artifacts, not realizing these thoughts were sculptures in progress, continuously manifesting as physical fatigue and emotional strain. Her body became the marble upon which her thoughts carved their testament to pain. The turning point arrived when she understood forgiveness not as weakness, but as the master sculptor's most powerful tool. To forgive was not to declare the past acceptable, but to release the energy bound in resistance. As she began clearing her mental workspace of old works in progress, vitality returned like spring after winter. Consider then the tale of Clyde, who had harbored bitterness toward his former employer until he discovered this same truth. One evening, before sleep claimed him, he spoke words of forgiveness aloud, releasing his grip on old grievances. By morning, the universe had responded. A job offer arrived from an unexpected source, as though the very act of forgiveness had cleared the channel through which abundance flows. These stories illuminate an essential truth. Resentment acts as static in the frequency of creation. When you hold thoughts of past wrongs, you continue to sculpt from that same pattern, recreating similar circumstances again and again. But in the moment of true forgiveness, you clear your workshop of unfinished pieces that no longer serve your highest vision. The practice. As darkness settles each evening, close your eyes and imagine those who have wounded you. Whisper inwardly, "I release you from my story," and feel the immediate lightness in your being. Notice how this simple act creates space for new creations to emerge. This vibration of release attracts serenity faster than any ambition ever could. Remember, forgiveness is not about the other. It is about freeing your own creative force from the bonds of memory. In releasing others, you release yourself to sculpt anew. Chapter 8. The Alchemy of Words. In a small coastal village, Peggy spent her mornings writing verses in a worn notebook, unaware that each line she penned was weaving the fabric of her experiences. Her words, like invisible threads, stitched patterns into the tapestry of her daily life. When darkness clouded her poetry, shadows seemed to lengthen across her path. Yet in moments when gratitude flowed through her pen, unexpected gifts appeared as naturally as waves reaching shore. Through observation and inner awakening, Peggy discovered that her words carried a force beyond mere meaning. Each complaint uttered became a seed that grew into thorny circumstances, while every blessing spoken bloomed into unexpected joy. This revelation transformed not only her poetry, but her entire existence. The universe responds not just to thoughts and emotions, but to the vibration of spoken words. Each syllable sends ripples through the ethereal fabric of creation. When you speak, you command energy itself, directing it toward manifestation. Your words are more than communication. They are incantations that program the matrix of reality. The power of the spoken word extends beyond human comprehension. Ancient traditions have long taught that creation itself began with sound, a primordial word that set all things in motion. This same creative force flows through your speech, making each statement a decree to the universe. Virgil's story illuminates this truth with elegant simplicity. His small bakery struggled until he began blessing each loaf as it entered the oven. "You are abundance made edible," he would whisper, infusing the bread with intention. Soon, customers claimed his bread carried something special, an indefinable quality that drew them back daily. Within months, lines formed outside his door each morning, and his simple blessing transformed his fortunes. His experience reveals the alchemical nature of words charged with pure intention. The bread itself remained unchanged in ingredients, yet the blessing altered its essence on an energetic level that customers could sense, if not explain. Sacred practice. Move through this day as though the universe leans in to catch your every word. Speak with the awareness that creation itself responds to your voice. Choose words that paint the reality you wish to experience. Let your speech become a conscious act of creation, blessing each moment, person, and circumstance you encounter. Watch as the world begins to mirror the beauty of your words, responding like a pleased friend to your loving attention. Chapter 9. The Dance Between Faith and Evidence. The truth you now encounter stretches beyond the realm of mere positive thinking. Your words are not simply expressions. They are commands to the universe, decrees that shape the very substance of reality. Each syllable you speak ripples through the quantum field, arranging and rearranging the invisible matrix of creation. What many fail to grasp is that words are not merely sounds. They are vessels of creative force. When you speak, you are literally programming the field of infinite possibility. This is why the ancient mystics guarded their speech with such reverence. They understood that casual complaints were not harmless. They were blueprints for unwanted manifestations. Take Mabel, whose logical mind kept her imprisoned in a world of limited possibility. She demanded proof before belief, unknowingly reversing the natural order of creation. Her stance was much like someone refusing to plant a seed until they saw the flower, a fundamental misunderstanding of how growth occurs. Yet when she finally dared to speak of possibilities before their physical arrival, her reality began to shift with stunning swiftness. The universe does not respond to what you can prove. It responds to what you believe deeply enough to declare. Your words are the chisel with which you carve your destiny from the marble of possibility. This truth was beautifully demonstrated through Victor's journey with abundance. While his wallet lay empty, he refused to speak of lack. Instead, he spoke of wealth as an already accomplished fact. His words became prophetic, calling forth the very reality they described. What appeared as coincidence, unexpected refunds, and surprising opportunities, was simply the physical world adjusting itself to match his verbal declarations. This is not magic, but law. The universe must deliver experiences that align with your sustained verbal vibration. Your practice now becomes sacred. Hold your speech as though each word carries the power of creation, because it does. When challenges arise, resist the temptation to voice complaint. Instead, speak with unwavering faith in the perfection of universal timing. Let your words paint pictures of what you wish to experience, rather than what your eyes currently see. Begin this ancient practice. Sit in silence each morning and evening. Feel the absolute certainty that everything you desire already exists. Smile softly, knowing the universe never delays. It simply awaits your unwavering certainty. Maintain this knowing until physical reality aligns with your inner truth. Your faith is not blind hope. It is the very force that shapes worlds. Chapter 10. The Harmony of Desire and Detachment. In the heart of a bustling city lived Doris, whose longing for love cast shadows over her radiance. Each morning she scanned crowds for potential companions, her eyes carrying such hunger that strangers instinctively stepped back. Every conversation became an assessment. Every interaction weighted with desperate hope. The more she reached, the more connection eluded her grasp. The universe responds not to what you want, but to what you are. When desire transforms into desperation, it creates a frequency of absence that pushes away the very thing you seek. Your yearning becomes a force of repulsion, for the universe mirrors your internal state with perfect precision. One day, exhausted by pursuit, Doris surrendered. She turned inward, cultivating a garden of self-appreciation. She filled her evenings with poetry, music, and quiet walks. She learned to savor solitude like fine wine, discovering depths within herself she had never known existed. As her need for completion through another dissolved, something mysterious began to shift. The law of attraction operates through paradox. What you chase flees. What you release returns. When you stop treating love as a missing piece and begin radiating wholeness, you transform from seeker to magnet. Your energy shifts from grasping to allowing, from wanting to welcoming. This truth found perfect expression in Lester, a struggling artist whose dreams of recognition consumed him. Every gallery rejection felt like a personal wound until he made a crucial discovery. Rather than pursuing success with desperate intensity, he chose to paint purely for the joy of creation. He visualized his ideal future, while feeling peaceful about his present moment. One ordinary afternoon, as Lester worked contentedly in his studio, a renowned collector walked in, drawn by the light emanating from his recent works. That chance encounter launched his career internationally. His ease had become an invitation that success could not resist. The universe operates through attraction, not pursuit. When you release the energy of need, you create space for manifestation to occur naturally. Your role is not to force or chase, but to align with the frequency of what you desire while remaining at peace with what is. Practice. Settle into a quiet moment and envision your deepest wish as a delicate bird resting in your open palm. Feel its gentle weight, its living warmth. Now, with love and trust, imagine slowly raising your hand, offering the bird complete freedom to fly. Watch it soar, knowing in your heart that what is truly yours will always find its way back. This sacred act of release transforms anxious wanting into magnetic allowing. Practice this visualization whenever attachment threatens to overwhelm trust, remembering that the universe responds most generously to those who hold their desires with open hands. Part 2. The Mechanics of Manifestation. Chapter 11. The Quantum Conversation. In a quiet research facility, Hazel sat before her computer screen, questioning whether her inner state could possibly influence the data she collected. Day after day, she noticed subtle patterns emerging. When she approached her work with doubt, experiments failed. When she carried confidence, results aligned with unexpected precision. You live in a universe where consciousness and matter engage in constant dialogue. Each thought you hold ripples through the quantum field, instructing particles to arrange themselves according to your deepest convictions. This is not metaphor, but mechanism, the fundamental language through which reality communicates with itself through you. The physical world appears solid, yet modern physics reveals that all matter is essentially frozen light, responsive to the observer. Your consciousness is not separate from this field, but intimately woven into its fabric. Every intention you hold sends waves of information through the quantum realm, programming possibility into probability. When you understand this profound truth, you begin to treat your thoughts with sacred respect. They are not mere mental activity, but creative force, restructuring the very matrix of existence. The universe operates as a vast network of interconnected intelligence, with your awareness serving as a focal point through which reality shapes itself. This truth manifested powerfully for Ralph, a software engineer who struggled with persistent coding errors. Despite his technical expertise, certain bugs seemed to defy logic itself. One evening, following an ancient intuition, he began speaking words of harmony to his code before each compilation. To his amazement, problems that had resisted traditional debugging began resolving themselves, as though the programs were responding to his conscious intention. What Ralph discovered transcends coincidence. The same intelligence that allows your cells to cooperate in perfect harmony extends into everything you touch. Your focused intention carries the power to reorganize energy patterns at fundamental levels, bringing coherence to chaos. This principle operates whether you are aware of it or not. Every thought you maintain becomes a blueprint that the quantum field follows with perfect fidelity. When you project confusion, reality reflects complexity. When you emanate clarity, circumstances align with surprising ease. The universe is not a machine but a living consciousness, responsive to your every internal movement. Your role is not to force outcomes, but to maintain thoughts of such clarity and coherence that reality naturally configures itself to match your frequency. Practice. As you move through your day, imagine your words as streams of light particles, each one carrying your intention into the fabric of space and time. Feel the joy of knowing that reality hears you with perfect accuracy. Let this awareness fill you with quiet elation. You are not speaking into void, but engaging in intimate dialogue with the conscious universe. Your words are not merely sounds, but instructions, reorganizing matter toward harmony and benevolence. Hold this vibration of conscious co-creation, trusting that every particle of existence stands ready to dance with your highest intention. Chapter 12. The Blueprint of Belief. In the bustling marketplace of life, Bonnie stood before her empty shop window, watching potential customers pass by without a glance. Her small boutique, once filled with dreams and determination, now echoed with silence. Each morning, she would unlock the door while carrying the weight of generations who had whispered, "Business is always a struggle, and success demands suffering." The universe responds not to your actions alone, but to the ancestral voices that whisper beneath your conscious thoughts. These inherited beliefs form the foundation upon which all manifestation builds or crumbles. When Bonnie finally examined these deep-rooted convictions, she discovered a pattern passed down through her family line, one that equated worthiness with hardship. Through patient inner work, she began replacing these ancient narratives. Each morning, she would touch her store's doorframe and silently affirm, "Prosperity flows naturally." Within weeks, the energetic shift became tangible. Customers who had walked past for months suddenly felt drawn to enter. The invisible barrier had dissolved. The quantum field responds to belief with unwavering precision. Your expectations program reality at its most fundamental level, instructing particles to arrange themselves according to your deepest convictions. This truth revealed itself profoundly through Franklin's journey with aging. Franklin, a retired professor, had absorbed society's programming about decline until he questioned these assumptions. He began speaking to his cells with reverence, declaring, "My body knows perfect renewal." He maintained this conversation with his biology until his medical tests displayed improvements that puzzled his doctors. Your subconscious mind holds no opinion about whether a belief serves or hinders. It simply manifests whatever you accept as truth. When Franklin shifted his core conviction about vitality, his physical form realigned to match this new blueprint. The same principles that govern the transformation of consciousness govern the behavior of matter itself. Sacred practice. Find a quiet moment at sunrise or sunset. Close your eyes and allow your mind to sketch the reality you wish to experience. See it with more clarity than your strongest memory. Feel its texture, its warmth, its absolute certainty. Let this vision rest in your consciousness like a seed planted in fertile soil. Know that this picture carries the same creative force that forms galaxies. Hold it with the certainty that every blueprint in your mind becomes architecture in the material world, unseen at first, but ultimately unstoppable. Chapter 13. The Sacred Neutral. In a distant valley, a merchant named Leela lived among the rolling hills, where her fortunes rose and fell like the landscape itself. Each morning, she would rush to check her ledgers, her heart soaring with good news or plummeting with setbacks. Her emotions swung like a pendulum between elation and despair, leaving her exhausted from the constant flux of feeling. Your power to manifest lies not in the peaks of excitement, nor in the valleys of disappointment, but in the sacred middle ground, where clarity resides. When you chase the highs of success or flee the lows of perceived failure, you scatter your magnetic force across the spectrum of emotion, diluting its potency. The law of attraction responds most powerfully to steady, unwavering frequencies. Like a radio signal that maintains its clarity through consistent transmission, your manifesting power strengthens when you cultivate emotional equilibrium. This is not the deadness of indifference, but the alive stillness of conscious neutrality. Consider how a master archer maintains perfect form regardless of whether the previous arrow hit or missed the target. Each shot exists in its own moment of potential, unburdened by the weight of past outcomes or future hopes. This state of balanced awareness creates the conditions for excellence to emerge naturally. Hermann, a trader in the bustling markets of the East, discovered this truth through years of watching his wealth fluctuate. At first, he celebrated each profitable trade with feasts and bemoaned each loss with sleepless nights. His fortunes remained unstable until he learned to greet both outcomes with the same peaceful acknowledgement. As he cultivated this practice of neutrality, an extraordinary shift occurred. His trading decisions emerged from a place of clarity rather than emotional urgency. The market seemed to respond to his newfound steadiness, as though recognizing in him a worthy partner in the dance of exchange. His success grew not from chasing profit, but from embodying balance. The wisdom revealed through Hermann's journey mirrors an eternal truth. The universe responds not to your desires alone, but to the stability of your energy field. When you maintain equipoise in the face of both fortune and challenge, you create a gravitational center that naturally attracts harmonious circumstances. This balance point, this zero state of pure potential, is your natural inheritance. It is not something to achieve, but to remember, for it lives in the spaces between your thoughts, in the pause between your breath, in the moment before judgment arises. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space where you can sit undisturbed. Close your eyes and allow your awareness to rest in the still point between thoughts. Notice how emotions arise like clouds in the sky of your consciousness. Rather than reaching for pleasant feelings or pushing away discomfort, simply observe each sensation with gentle attention. Feel how your energy field stabilizes as you release the need to control your experience. Let your breath become steady and even, like the rhythmic waves of an ancient ocean. In this space of neutrality, sense how the universe begins to reorganize around your serenity, like iron filings aligning with a magnetic field. Rest here for as long as feels natural, knowing that each moment of balanced awareness strengthens your manifesting potential. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14. The Echo of Imagination. In a quiet village by the sea, a young woman named Sadie spent her days working as a seamstress, her fingers busy with thread while her mind wandered through elaborate visions. As she stitched garments, she painted vibrant scenes in her mind, of traveling to distant shores, of speaking to crowds, of creating beauty that would touch countless lives. Yet each time these visions arose, doubt followed like a shadow, whispering that such dreams were mere escapes from reality. The universe speaks first in images, not words. Your imagination is not a frivolous distraction, but the sacred workspace where reality takes its first breath. When you envision with feeling and faith, you are not merely daydreaming. You are participating in the primordial act of creation itself. Every great achievement, every moment of progress, every leap of human evolution began as a picture in someone's mind. Those who dismiss imagination as fantasy misunderstand the very mechanics of manifestation. Your inner eye is the architect's table where tomorrow's circumstances are drafted. The visions you hold with conviction become the templates that the universal energy follows, like water filling a vessel. This is not wishful thinking, but cosmic law. The same force that transforms seeds into forests first manifests as the tree's imaginal blueprint. Leonard, a humble piano teacher in a small town, understood this truth. Each night before sleep, he would close his eyes and see himself performing in grand concert halls across continents. He felt the smooth keys beneath his fingers, heard the applause, experienced the joy of sharing music with diverse audiences. He held these visions not as escape, but as sacred rehearsal. Within months, invitations began arriving, first from neighboring cities, then from overseas institutions. His calendar filled with opportunities that matched his inner pictures with surprising precision. The universe had responded not to his outer circumstances, but to the unwavering clarity of his mental cinema. This demonstrates that imagination is not separate from reality. It is reality's first expression. Like an artist's sketch preceding the masterpiece, your visualizations outline the shape of things to come. When you imagine with devotion, you are not avoiding life, but commanding it with the authority of a creator. To harness this power, treat your inner visions as holy play. Each time you close your eyes to imagine, you enter the sacred workshop where possibilities are forged. Your task is not to question these visions, but to nurture them with the tender attention a gardener gives to precious seeds. Practice. Find a quiet moment each day to enter your inner sanctuary. There, engage with your visions as though they were already unfolding. Feel their reality with every sense available to you. Touch the textures of your dreams, hear their sounds, breathe in their fragrances. Dance with these images as though they were divine partners in the ceremony of creation. Let your imagination soar freely, knowing that each vision you hold with love is truth in transit, already moving from the realm of possibility into the world of form. Chapter 15. The Bridge of the Present Moment. Within your heart lies an eternal workshop where the seeds of tomorrow take root in the soil of now. Every image you hold with sustained attention becomes a template for manifestation, drawing substance from the infinite field of possibility. In a seaside village, Flora spent her days gazing through windows at ships on the horizon, forever saying, "One day I will." She held happiness at arm's length, believing fulfillment dwelled in some distant future. Each morning brought the same thought: when circumstances change, then I will begin to live. Yet the universe speaks a different truth. Creation knows only the eternal now. Through an unexpected encounter with an aging fisherman, Flora learned that postponed joy creates postponed living. "The fish swim in today's waters," he told her, casting his net with complete presence. "Tomorrow's seas don't yet exist." His simple wisdom sparked a profound shift in Flora's awareness. She began to sense how each moment vibrated with creative power, waiting to be shaped by conscious intention. The present moment is not a stepping stone to somewhere else. It is the only point where manifestation occurs. When you fully inhabit the now, you access the quantum field where all possibility exists. Your focused awareness in this instant becomes the chisel that carves reality from raw potential. Nelson, a humble shopkeeper, embodied this truth through an ordinary task, sweeping his storefront porch each morning. Rather than rushing through the chore, he transformed it into moving meditation. Every stroke of the broom became an act of devotion to the present. He felt the grain of wooden planks beneath his feet, heard the whisper of bristles against stone, noticed how morning light played on gathering dust. Within weeks of this practice, his small shop began to prosper inexplicably. Customers remarked on the peaceful atmosphere, lingering longer and returning more frequently. His mindful presence had magnetized abundance simply by anchoring creative power in the now. This principle operates through you in every moment. When you release the habit of living in an imagined future or remembered past, you discover that manifestation requires no waiting. The present pulse contains all the creative authority of the universe, waiting to be directed by your conscious attention. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space and settle into your body's weight and warmth. Begin breathing slowly, feeling each breath as it enters and leaves. With every inhale, sense the infinite potential compressed within this single moment. With every exhale, feel it unfolding through you with perfect timing. Let each breath remind you that now is where miracles begin. Maintain this awareness for several minutes, knowing that your presence here is already shaping tomorrow's reality. The power to create has always lived in the present moment. Your task is simply to meet it there, armed with clear intention and unwavering attention. This is the gift hidden within every breath, the chance to begin again, to shape anew, to manifest from the eternal now. Chapter 16. The Signature of Choice. In the eternal dance of creation, a singular moment holds more power than 1,000 tomorrows. Time itself bends to the authority of your present awareness, for it is here, in this breath, this heartbeat, that all transformation begins. In a bustling market square, Evelyn stood paralyzed between two paths, her energy scattered like leaves in autumn wind. Her desires remained unfulfilled, not from lack of potential, but from the mist of uncertainty that clouded her intentions. Each maybe and perhaps created ripples of confusion in the fabric of possibility, leaving the universe awaiting clear instruction. The truth whispers through the ages. The present moment is not a waiting room for future joy, but the very altar where reality takes form. When you stand firmly in the now, declaring your choice with unwavering clarity, you grant the universe permission to align circumstances in your favor. This wisdom revealed itself when Evelyn finally planted her flag of decision firmly in the soil of now. The moment she chose, truly chose, her direction, the fog of hesitation lifted. Opportunities that had lurked in shadow suddenly stepped into light, as if they had been waiting for her signal all along. The universe responds not to wishes but to decisions, Your choice becomes a command, setting in motion forces beyond mortal comprehension. Yet this power activates only in the present moment, where intention and action unite. Consider Stefan, who faced repeated disappointment until he made an unusual choice. Instead of waiting for results to lift his spirits, he decided to embody joy regardless of circumstances. This single decision transformed his reality. With each passing day, his chosen state of joy attracted corresponding experiences, as if the universe itself rushed to match his inner harmony. His story teaches that decisive clarity acts as cosmic instruction. When you choose an emotional frequency with conviction, you transmit a clear signal through the quantum field. The universe, ever attentive, responds not to what you want, but to what you have become. Practice. Choose one emotion, peace perhaps, and stamp it onto your day like a gentle autograph across every encounter. Let this feeling infuse each moment, each interaction, each breath. This is not mere practice, but sacred instruction to the universe, telling it precisely how to arrange the symphony of your experience. Your chosen emotion becomes the note around which all of creation harmonizes. Chapter 17. The Rhythm of Receiving. In the heart of every soul lies a sanctuary where abundance waits patiently to be welcomed. Through ages past, mystics and sages whispered of this truth, that receiving is an art as sacred as giving, a dance as vital as breath itself. Irene's hands were calloused from ceaseless toil, her spirit weary from endless striving. Though opportunities circled like gentle doves, she shooed them away, believing herself unworthy of their gifts. Each blessing that approached found her shoulders hunched, her eyes downcast, her energy contracted in silent refusal. The universe, ever patient, continued offering its bounty, yet her resistance created an invisible barrier through which even the most determined gifts could not pass. The law of attraction speaks not only of drawing forth desires, but of allowing them safe harbor when they arrive. Your relationship with receiving shapes the very fabric of what manifests in your life. When you contract against life's generosity, you instruct the universe to withhold its flow. Yet when you expand in gracious acceptance, you align with the natural abundance that pervades all creation. Stanley discovered this wisdom through simple observation. Each morning, as he walked through his neighborhood, passers-by would comment on his radiant smile or his peaceful presence. Where once he deflected these offerings with awkward dismissal, he began instead to practice silent acceptance, meeting each compliment with an internal yes. This subtle shift created ripples through the fabric of his reality. Business opportunities emerged unexpectedly, relationships deepened effortlessly, and resources appeared precisely when needed. His story teaches that receptivity is not passive waiting, but active participation in the universal flow. The universe speaks in the language of giving. Each moment carries a gift, perhaps a kind word, an unexpected solution, or a moment of beauty. These are not random occurrences, but responses to your capacity to receive. When you resist receiving, you interrupt the cosmic circulation of energy. When you receive graciously, you complete the circuit of creation. Your willingness to receive becomes a tuning fork, harmonizing your vibration with the frequency of abundance. This is not about deserving or earning. It is about allowing yourself to be a conscious participant in life's eternal giving. Practice. The ancient art of receiving. Let today be a symphony of accepting gestures, smiling whenever life tries to hand you goodness. This simple practice realigns your energy with the natural flow of abundance, opening channels through which blessings can flow unimpeded. Chapter 18. The Sacred Science of Joy. In the vast symphony of creation, there exists a delicate melody, the art of receiving. This sacred dance between giving and accepting shapes the very fabric of abundance in your life. Long ago, in a bustling market square, Elsie walked with shoulders bent beneath the weight of spiritual seeking. She filled her days with solemn meditation and austere practices, believing that the path to enlightenment demanded perpetual gravity. Her prayers grew heavy, her rituals mechanical, until one morning, when a child's giggle pierced her contemplation. The sound startled her, pure, unbridled joy floating through the air like golden light. In that moment, something ancient and forgotten stirred within her heart. She realized that in her quest for spiritual growth, she had forgotten the lightness of being. The universe speaks in the language of vibration, and no frequency travels faster than authentic joy. As Elsie began to soften her approach, miracles bloomed effortlessly. Her healing practice, once struggling, flourished as she allowed laughter to infuse her work. The very prayers that once felt leaden took wing when touched by the feather of delight. This truth echoes through the story of Harvey, a merchant who discovered the alchemical power of mirth. While others anxiously tracked their fortunes, Harvey began each morning contemplating his dreams with playful amusement. He would chuckle at the thought of success, not from doubt, but from pure delight in its inevitable unfolding. Within weeks, his light-hearted approach magnetized extraordinary opportunities. Customers who once passed his shop now lingered, drawn by the atmosphere of joy he cultivated. His business flourished not through force or strain, but through the magnetic power of his elevated vibration. The wisdom lies clear as morning dew. Joy is not merely a response to success. It is the very catalyst that accelerates its manifestation. When you align with the frequency of delight, you tune your being to the natural abundance of the universe. Ancient practice. Settle into a comfortable position and allow your breath to find its natural rhythm. Begin to notice the simple pleasures surrounding you: the warmth of sunlight, the gentle brush of air, the steady beat of your heart. Let a smile touch your lips, not from effort, but from recognition of life's inherent beauty. Throughout your day, seek moments of delight in ordinary experiences. Let joy become your natural state, and watch as the universe mirrors your inner radiance with increasing abundance. Chapter 19. The Path of Non-Resistance. In a quiet valley between ancient mountains, Marjorie dedicated herself to spiritual awakening with fierce determination. Each morning she rose before dawn, forcing herself through rigid meditation practices, seeking enlightenment through sheer will. Her shoulders grew tense with effort, her breath shallow with striving, as she attempted to command transcendence into being. Yet wisdom arrives not through force, but through surrender. After months of exhaustion, her body finally refused to continue. In that moment of complete surrender, when she could no longer maintain her spiritual warfare, truth dawned like gentle sunlight. The universe whispered its timeless secret. Non-resistance is the highest form of mastery. When you cease struggling against life's currents, you discover the natural rhythm of existence. Each challenge becomes not an opponent to overcome, but a teacher offering guidance. Your resistance creates the very tension you seek to escape. In accepting what is, you unleash the transformative power of allowing. This truth found beautiful expression through Felix, a merchant known for his quick temper. During a heated dispute over a transaction, rather than engaging in familiar patterns of conflict, Felix chose to sit in silence. As his breath deepened and his mind quieted, he witnessed how the argument dissolved like morning mist. Without feeding the flames of discord, harmony naturally restored itself. His story illuminates the profound principle that stillness holds greater power than struggle. When you step back from emotional turbulence, you create space for natural resolution. The universe operates through balance, continuously seeking equilibrium. Your role is not to force, but to allow. The sacred science of joy reveals itself through non-resistance. When you release the need to control outcomes, to force enlightenment, or to demand specific results, you align with the natural flow of creation. This alignment brings forth effortless manifestation, like a river finding its path to the sea. Practice. Find a comfortable position and begin to systematically relax every muscle in your body. Start with your toes and move upward, releasing tension from each area. Then extend this relaxation to your thoughts, allowing them to settle like leaves floating on still water. Feel how peace naturally fills the spaces where conflict once resided. Remain in this state of gentle awareness, knowing that in your surrender lies your greatest power. Chapter 20. The Conductor Within. In a bustling music conservatory, Opal sat motionless at her desk, surrounded by scattered compositions. As students rushed past her office, she remained still, absorbed in a peculiar revelation. For years, she had believed herself the creator of her circumstances, until one pristine moment shifted everything. The truth unveiled itself with crystalline clarity. It was not her personal self directing the symphony of her existence, but rather the pure awareness flowing through her. This consciousness, ancient and ever-present, conducted reality with an intelligence far beyond her limited mind. Your creative power stems not from the thoughts you think, but from the awareness behind those thoughts. This presence, this witnessing consciousness, orchestrates the entire universe through you. When you align with this truth, life begins flowing with effortless grace. The universe responds not to your striving, but to the quality of your awareness. Like a masterful conductor, your consciousness directs energy through the subtle movements of attention. Whatever you place your awareness upon begins to dance with new vitality, rearranging itself in harmony with your focused presence. This principle revealed itself differently to Clyde, a concert pianist who had reached a plateau in his abilities. One afternoon, while practicing a challenging sonata, he noticed something extraordinary. As he brought his complete attention to each note, the music began responding as if touched by an unseen hand. The keys seemed to press themselves, creating sounds of unprecedented beauty. Without forcing or straining, he simply allowed pure awareness to flow through his fingers. His technical skill transformed overnight, transcending years of mechanical practice. The music played through him rather than by him, each note arising from the silence of pure attention. His experience illuminates a universal truth. Focused awareness acts as a conductor's baton, guiding the orchestra of circumstance. When you learn to direct your attention with precision and care, reality arranges itself accordingly. The power lies not in controlling, but in conscious allowing. The practice. Sit quietly and close your eyes. Feel the presence of awareness itself, the unchanging consciousness that witnesses all experience. Let this awareness expand naturally, sensing how it orchestrates all activity through you. As you move through your day, maintain this recognition of yourself as pure awareness, conducting the symphony of life with each breath. Watch as circumstances begin dancing to the rhythm of your conscious presence. Part 3. The Mastery of Reality Bending. Chapter 21. The Synchronicity Stream. Along a winding mountain path walked Hattie, absorbed in her morning ritual of counting her steps. Yet lately, something peculiar had caught her attention. Numbers began appearing in patterns she could no longer dismiss as chance. 1111 on clocks, $333 on receipts, license plates that mirrored significant dates. At first, she questioned her sanity until she realized these were not random occurrences, but orchestrated messages from the universe itself. When you attune yourself to the frequency of creation, signs and signals emerge like musical notes in perfect harmony. These synchronicities serve as cosmic confirmation that your vibration aligns with universal flow. They are not mere coincidence, but the language through which infinite intelligence communicates with your awakened awareness. The universe speaks in patterns, and when you notice these patterns, you've begun to understand its sacred tongue. Each synchronicity arrives as evidence that you're in harmony with the greater symphony of existence. These moments of perfect timing and meaningful coincidence are the universe's way of applauding your alignment with its natural rhythm. Julian discovered this truth through a different melody. Each morning, rather than following his usual calculated route to work, he began listening to subtle inner promptings, a spontaneous urge to turn left instead of right, an inexplicable pull toward a different coffee shop, a sudden impulse to enter a building he'd passed 1,000 times before. Following these gentle nudges led him to encounters that transformed his business. In that unfamiliar coffee shop, he met an investor who believed in his vision. Through that random building entrance, he discovered a team of collaborators who possessed exactly the skills his project required. Each seemingly random detour unveiled another piece of his success puzzle. His experience reveals that force creates resistance, while flow attracts assistance. When you trust the subtle guidance of intuition, you align with the universe's natural orchestration. The people, opportunities, and resources needed for your journey appear with perfect timing, not through struggle, but through surrender to divine arrangement. These stories unveil a profound truth. The universe constantly seeks to support your highest good. It sends signals through synchronicity, speaks through meaningful coincidence, and guides through intuitive nudges. Your task is not to make things happen, but to notice and follow the breadcrumbs of divine coordination. When you release rigid control and allow yourself to be guided by these subtle signs, life unfolds with remarkable precision. Each synchronicity serves as confirmation that you're dancing in rhythm with universal intelligence. The practice. Whenever synchronicities appear in your day, be they repeated numbers, meaningful coincidences, or perfect timing, pause and smile in recognition. Whisper a quiet thank you to the universe for speaking so clearly through the language of alignment. Let each synchronicity remind you that you're in constant dialogue with infinite intelligence. Every coincidence a confirmation that reality delights in dancing with your awakened awareness. Chapter 22. The Aura of Integrity. Reality unfolds through the mirror of authenticity. Each time you align your inner world with outer expression, the universe responds with unmistakable precision. This sacred principle became clear through Bessie's journey. Bessie walked through life wearing masks of certainty, projecting an image of success while doubt gnawed at her spirit. She spoke of abundance while scarcity beliefs colored her thoughts. She claimed happiness while her heart harbored unspoken sorrows. This misalignment between her presented self and inner truth created a static in her manifestation field, drawing experiences that matched her confusion rather than her desires. The transformation began when she dared to acknowledge her fears. In quiet moments, she admitted her uncertainties, not as weakness, but as stepping stones to genuine strength. As truth filled her thoughts, clarity descended like morning light. Her relationships deepened, opportunities arrived with natural timing, and the fog of confusion lifted from her path. The universe operates through absolute precision. It cannot deliver clarity to one who broadcasts mixed signals. When your thoughts, words, and feelings align in harmony, you establish a stable frequency that allows manifestation to flow unimpeded. Monroe discovered this wisdom through an unexpected channel. For years, he carried the weight of unspoken truths. Small deceptions he justified as protection for loved ones. His financial world seemed perpetually tangled, with unexpected expenses and delayed payments creating constant strain. One evening, moved by an inner prompting, he began speaking his truth. To his wife, he revealed his fears about their future. To his children, he expressed both his pride and his regrets. To his business partners, he acknowledged past mistakes. With each honest conversation, something shifted in the fabric of his reality. Within weeks, long-delayed payments arrived, new opportunities emerged, and financial channels opened as if invisible barriers had dissolved. His story illuminates a fundamental truth. When you align your inner and outer worlds, you create a clear channel for abundance to flow. The universe responds not to what you wish to be true, but to the resonance between your deepest truth and its expression. Practice. Sit in peaceful solitude and place your hand over your heart. Allow your breath to settle into a natural rhythm. Now feel the alignment between your thoughts, words, and deepest desires. Let them harmonize until they vibrate as one pure note within your being. Hold this resonance for several minutes, knowing that this coherence calls forth matching circumstances in your outer world. Chapter 23. The Parallel Path. In the quiet hills beyond the city, Thelma spent her days watching how sunlight shifted patterns through leaves, how clouds morphed from one shape to another, how water held multiple reflections at once. Through these observations, a profound truth revealed itself to her. Reality was not fixed, but fluid, existing in countless variations simultaneously. The deeper wisdom unveiled itself. Existence operates like an infinite hall of mirrors, each reflection representing a different possibility. Your attention acts as a beam of light, illuminating the reality you choose to experience. When you understand this principle, you begin to grasp the true nature of manifestation. The universe does not create anew with each desire. It simply allows you to select from what already exists. Every possibility you can imagine already exists in perfect form, waiting for your focused awareness to bring it into your experience. This is why forcing change often proves futile. The art lies not in creating, but in selecting. This truth manifested powerfully through Eugene's experience. As a corporate accountant yearning to become a master craftsman, he understood that his transformation required more than external action. Rather than struggling to build a new reality, he began to embody the essence of his desired life. Each morning, he moved with the grace and precision of an artisan. His hands, though still handling spreadsheets, carried the reverence of one who shaped beautiful objects. He spoke with the quiet confidence of someone already accomplished in their craft. Within months, his current reality began to fade like morning mist, while his envisioned life gained substance and form. A chance encounter led to an apprenticeship, and his transition flowed with remarkable ease. The old career dissolved not through force or struggle, but through the natural shifting of his vibrational frequency. This illustrates the fundamental principle. Reality responds not to what you wish for, but to what you embody. The frequency you maintain through consistent thought, feeling, and action determines which version of reality becomes your experience. Your attention is the most powerful tool in selecting realities. Whatever reality you focus upon with emotional consistency becomes your dominant experience. This explains why worry perpetuates unwanted circumstances. It places your attention on the very reality you wish to avoid. Sacred practice. Move through your day as though your chosen reality already surrounds you. Let your posture, breath, and gestures reflect the version of yourself who already lives this truth. When you walk, feel the ground beneath you supporting the reality you've selected. Acknowledge each moment as confirmation of your chosen existence, greeting it with the quiet confidence of one who knows their place in the infinite tapestry of possibility. Chapter 24. The Field of Compassion. Along the winding paths of an ancient market, Lottie stood behind her stall, armored in what she believed was necessary strength. She had built walls around her heart, convinced that success demanded an unyielding spirit. Each transaction became a battle, each negotiation a contest of wills. Yet, despite her forceful approach, prosperity remained elusive, slipping through her grasp like water through clenched fingers. The universe holds wisdom far beyond our initial understanding. Through its infinite intelligence, it orchestrates lessons that transform our deepest misconceptions. For Lottie, this lesson arrived through an unexpected encounter with an elderly woman who could barely afford her wares. Instead of turning away, something stirred within her. A forgotten warmth, a natural inclination toward kindness. As she reduced the price and helped the woman gather her purchases, an extraordinary shift occurred. The market's energy transformed, and customers began flowing to her stall in unprecedented numbers. This revelation illuminates a fundamental truth. Compassion operates as a force of attraction within the quantum field. When you extend genuine kindness, you align with the universe's natural frequency of harmony. This alignment creates a resonance that draws corresponding experiences into your reality. Hardness creates resistance, while softness allows energy to flow freely. Consider Vernon, whose story echoes this principle with striking clarity. When a city official unjustly denied his business permit, Vernon's initial instinct was to fight back with anger and resentment. Yet wisdom guided him to choose differently. He released his grievance, replacing it with understanding for the pressures and limitations the official might be facing. This shift in energy created an opening in the fabric of possibility. Months later, the same official, touched by Vernon's gracious conduct, personally recommended him for a government contract worth far more than his original venture. The lesson becomes clear. Compassion is not merely a spiritual virtue, but a practical force for manifestation. When you soften your approach to life, life softens its approach to you. This is not weakness, but the highest form of strength, the ability to remain open and kind in a world that often forgets these qualities. The law operates with perfect precision. What you extend outward returns multiplied. Each act of kindness sends ripples through the quantum field, creating patterns of possibility that favor harmonious outcomes. By choosing compassion, you tune your being to the frequency of grace, where manifestation flows with natural ease. Ancient practice. As you move through your day, send silent blessings to each stranger you encounter. Picture a soft golden light extending from your heart to theirs. Notice how this practice begins to alter the quality of your experiences, how the very air around you seems to respond with increased gentleness. This is not imagination, but the tangible effect of aligning with universal love's frequency. Chapter 25. The Reality Loop. In the quiet corners of your awareness lies a truth as ancient as consciousness itself. Compassion is not merely a virtue. It is a force that shapes reality at its most fundamental level. When you extend genuine kindness, you align with the universe's natural frequency of harmony. This alignment creates a resonance that draws corresponding experiences into your reality. Consider how the quantum field responds to the quality of your energy. Hardness creates resistance, while softness allows energy to flow freely. This is not mysticism, but rather the practical application of universal law. When you operate from a place of compassion, you enter into partnership with the creative force that orchestrates all existence. Yet many find themselves trapped in patterns of perceived necessity, believing that strength means impermeability. They armor themselves against life's flow, unaware that this very protection becomes their prison. Dorothy exemplified this truth in her own journey. Each morning she would wake anticipating conflict with her colleagues, and each day manifested exactly what she expected. Her emotional memory became a script the universe faithfully performed. The power to break free arrived when Dorothy recognized that her reactions weren't protecting her. They were programming her reality. Every response born from past hurt was an instruction to the universe to repeat the lesson. The cosmic law remains constant. Habitual emotion replays events with unwavering precision. Lewis discovered this same principle through a different path. Where others saw offense, he chose curiosity. When faced with familiar triggers, he paused to ask, "What if this moment could unfold differently?" This simple shift in perception created space for new possibilities to emerge. His story teaches us that reality refreshes itself when we dare to see with new eyes. The universe responds not to what you want, but to what you emanate. When your heart radiates compassion, reality has no choice but to reflect that frequency back to you. This is the hidden mechanism behind all manifestation, the silent conversation between consciousness and creation. Sacred practice. Find a quiet moment each day for this ancient practice. When you notice old reactions arising, those familiar patterns of defense or judgment, pause. Take a deep breath and choose curiosity instead of certainty. Ask yourself, what new possibility awaits if I respond differently? Feel how this simple shift lightens your energy. The universe delights in fresh expressions more than repetition. Let each moment be new, and watch as reality dances to your renewed perception. Chapter 26. The Frequency of Enlightened Action. In a small coastal town, Nancy spent her days longing for change while remaining frozen in inaction. She had studied the principles of manifestation deeply, yet misunderstood a fundamental truth: that the universe speaks through gentle nudges, quiet whispers, urging us toward aligned action. Each morning, Nancy would sit in meditation, visualizing her desires with perfect clarity. Yet when inspiration arose to take a new path or speak to a stranger, she dismissed these promptings as mere distractions. Surely, she thought, true manifestation requires only mental focus, not physical movement. But the universe had other plans. One day, while walking along the shore, she felt an inexplicable urge to collect shells. Following this impulse brought her face to face with an art gallery owner who would later showcase her shell jewelry designs. This seemingly random encounter revealed the teaching that had eluded her. Inspired action is not labor, but evidence of perfect alignment. When you attune to the frequency of creation, action flows naturally, effortlessly, like water finding its course. These moments of inspiration are the universe's way of coordinating circumstances, bringing together elements that your logical mind could never arrange. Consider Glenn, a painter who struggled with creative blocks until he discovered the art of inspired action. Rather than forcing himself to complete paintings through sheer will, he waited for intuitive promptings. Each day he would approach his canvas and paint only when moved by an inner calling, sometimes just a single brush stroke. What appeared as minimal effort to others was actually perfect alignment with universal timing. His success unfolded naturally, not through striving, but through surrendering to the rhythm of inspiration. Galleries began requesting his work, drawn to the authentic energy that flowed through each piece. Glenn's experience illuminates a profound truth. Intuition is not mere suggestion, it is divine instruction. This revelation transforms how we understand manifestation. It is not about forcing outcomes through constant effort, but about dancing with the subtle guidance that appears moment by moment. The universe speaks through feelings of lightness, through sudden inspirations that bring joy rather than strain. Your role in creation is not to push against the current, but to flow with it. When action springs from alignment, it carries an ease that defies conventional effort. This is the difference between rowing upstream and being carried by the river's natural course. Sacred practice. Throughout your day, notice the subtle promptings that arise, those gentle nudges that feel light and inviting. When inspiration calls, follow it without questioning its purpose. Trust that these impulses are the universe's way of choreographing your path, whether it's a sudden urge to call an old friend or take a different route home. Each inspired action is a step in the cosmic dance of creation. Let ease be your compass, knowing that when action feels light, You are moving in harmony with the universe's grand design. Chapter 27. The Living Vision. There exists a power within visualization that transcends mere daydreaming. In the quiet corners of an old Victorian house, Pauline discovered this truth. She held in her mind an image of a serene meditation space where souls could gather in peace. Rather than letting this vision remain ethereal, she took the remarkable step of preparing her spare room to match the sanctuary she glimpsed in her imagination. With unwavering devotion, she arranged cushions in perfect circles, draped fabrics in calming hues, and placed crystals exactly as she had envisioned them. The physical act of creating what she saw internally generated a magnetic force, one that soon drew others who shared her dream. Within weeks, neighbors who had never before expressed interest in meditation began offering support. Resources flowed effortlessly as community members, touched by the sanctity of the space, contributed funds for a full expansion. This teaching reveals a fundamental truth. When vision combines with emotional investment and physical action, it creates an unstoppable force of manifestation. The universe responds not to idle wishes, but to the unwavering certainty demonstrated through aligned action. Consider Horus, whose nightly ritual transformed his reality with similar power. Each evening before sleep, he would immerse himself in vivid visions of his ideal farm. He saw the rich soil beneath his feet, felt the morning dew on grass, and heard the gentle sounds of animals greeting the dawn. He held this vision with such consistency and joy that it began to take on a life of its own. The universe responded in its mysterious way, through a friend who inherited vast farmland and felt divinely inspired to gift a portion to Horus. What appeared as chance to others was simply the physical manifestation of his sustained mental picture, combined with emotional certainty. These stories illuminate a profound principle. Clear, joy-filled visualization compels physical reality to reshape itself accordingly. When you see with your inner eye while feeling the emotion of already having your desire, you create a blueprint that matter must follow. Sacred practice. As you prepare for sleep each night, allow yourself to venture into tomorrow with your inner sight. See with pristine clarity the day unfolding exactly as you wish it to be. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the deep knowing that accompanies your vision. Let these images and sensations be the last impressions on your consciousness as you drift into dreams. This practice plants seeds in fertile soil, ensuring your tomorrows bloom with the certainty of your visions. Chapter 28. The Transmutation of Fear. In a small village among ancient hills lived Agnes, whose heart raced at the mere thought of change. Each morning she would wake to the same routines, walk the same paths, and speak to the same few people, not from contentment, but from the grip of fear that held her life in careful patterns. Yet within her burned a small flame of curiosity that refused to be extinguished. This curiosity whispered questions. What lies beyond these familiar streets? What adventures await past the threshold of comfort? What treasures might be discovered if fear were not the compass of her choices? One day, the whispers grew louder than her fear. Agnes noticed how her body trembled before new experiences, the same trembling she felt when excitement coursed through her as a child. This simple observation sparked a profound awakening. The energy of fear and the energy of anticipation were remarkably similar. Only her interpretation painted one dark and the other light. This truth reveals itself to you now. Fear is neither enemy nor obstacle. It is raw energy awaiting your creative touch. Like clay in the hands of a master potter, fear's energy can be shaped into any form you choose. It is not the sensation itself that binds you, but the meaning you assign to it. Milton discovered this wisdom while facing his greatest terror, public speaking. His hands would shake, his throat would tighten, and his heart would pound as though trying to escape his chest. Yet instead of fighting these sensations, he began to welcome them as signs of power awakening within him. Each racing heartbeat became a drum of courage, each butterfly in his stomach a flutter of emerging strength. With practice, Milton learned to smile at the familiar surge of energy before taking the stage. He labeled the tingling in his limbs as excitement building, the shortness of breath as life force gathering. Through this simple shift in perception, what once paralyzed him transformed into fuel for dynamic presentation. The very energy that had once held him back now propelled him forward with magnetic charisma. The secret lies not in eliminating fear, but in the ancient art of energetic alchemy, transforming one vibration into another through the power of perception. Just as lead was said to transform into gold, fear can transmute into exhilarating potential when touched by conscious awareness. Sacred practice. When fear appears in your path, pause and greet it with the reverence of one who has discovered unrefined gold. Allow your breath to flow steady as sunlight, warming this precious material. Feel the sensations in your body without naming them as fear. Instead, welcome them as pure energy rising to serve your highest purpose. With each breath, imagine this energy melting, reforming, and crystallizing into courage. This is the alchemy of consciousness, the sacred art of transforming vibration through perception. Chapter 29. The Union of Soul and Source. The energy that courses through your veins when uncertainty looms is neither friend nor foe. It is pure potential awaiting your wisdom to shape it. Milton, a teacher who once trembled at the thought of public speaking, uncovered this truth through an unexpected revelation. Each time he approached the podium, his heart would pound and his hands would shake. Yet one morning, he chose to reframe these sensations, not as warnings of danger, but as signals of power awakening within him. These vibrations, he told himself, are simply energy rising to meet the moment. With this subtle shift in perception, his former terror transformed into a current of vitality that energized his presentations. His audiences began to feel this transformed energy, responding with unprecedented engagement and appreciation. The wisdom here reveals itself with crystalline clarity. What you label as fear is simply concentrated life force awaiting your direction. The physical sensations of anxiety and excitement are identical. Only your interpretation differs. This understanding allows you to transmute what once paralyzed you into fuel for expansion. Irene's journey deepened this teaching further as she discovered that her deepest desires were not separate from divine intention flowing through her. Each time she felt drawn toward growth, she recognized it as the universe's own longing for expression through her unique form. This revelation transformed her relationship with fear entirely. She saw that even her apprehensions were sacred energy seeking proper channeling. Chester's experience brings this wisdom full circle. For years he petitioned the heavens for guidance, until one day, sitting in complete silence, he realized a profound truth. His voice was already the divine voice speaking. His desires were already divine desires seeking expression. In that moment of recognition, his struggle with fear dissolved into a dance of co-creation. The interpretation becomes clear. When you recognize your unity with the source of all being, fear loses its power to separate you from your potential. It becomes instead a concentrated form of creative energy, a gift rather than a burden. Practice. Settle into a comfortable position and allow your breath to find its natural rhythm. With each inhale, recognize that you share this breath with the infinite source of all being. As you exhale, release gratitude as your signature of oneness with all that is. Let each breath cycle remind you that you are not separate from the power that creates worlds. You are its living expression. Chapter 30. The Ultimate Creative Responsibility. In a bustling marketplace, Beatrice stood at her stall, watching competitors struggle while her own business thrived. For months, she had used her understanding of manifestation to draw customers away from others, secretly rejoicing in their decline. Yet one morning, as she counted her coins, a heaviness settled in her chest, the weight of misaligned power. The universe speaks through consequences. When Beatrice began experiencing inexplicable losses despite her skilled manifestation practice, she realized that power wielded without love creates its own prison. The force that flows through you seeks expression for the highest good of all. When you direct it through the lens of harm or dominance, it eventually turns inward, consuming its source. This truth echoes through the ages. The law of attraction amplifies not just your desires, but the very essence of your intentions. Like a magnificent mirror, it reflects back not only what you seek, but the spirit in which you seek it. When your manifestations spring from love, they multiply boundlessly. When they arise from fear or malice, they create patterns that ultimately constrict your own expansion. Raymond, a merchant in the textile district, discovered this wisdom through a different path. When 3 new competitors opened shops nearby, his initial impulse was to protect his territory. Instead, he chose to bless their endeavors each morning, visualizing prosperity flowing to all. He replaced competition with collaboration, sharing supplier contacts and marketing insights. What unfolded next defied conventional logic. The entire district became known as a premier destination for textiles. All shops prospered, including Raymond's, which doubled its previous earnings. The universe had amplified his benevolent intention, creating abundance that exceeded individual ambition. This revelation illuminates a fundamental truth. Reality bending is not about dominion over others, but stewardship of the collective field. When you align your creative power with universal benevolence, you tap into the natural tendency of existence to expand toward greater harmony. Each time you shape reality, you write upon the fabric of existence itself. This privilege carries sacred responsibility. Your thoughts and intentions ripple outward, touching countless lives in ways you may never witness. By infusing your manifestations with kindness, you become a conductor of grace, allowing the universe to express its highest nature through your being. Sacred practice. Before engaging in any act of conscious creation, place your hands over your heart and whisper, "May this manifestation serve the highest good of all." Feel the warmth of universal love flowing through your intentions, knowing that as you bless the whole, you too are blessed. Let each thought of abundance include space for others to rise alongside you. Part 4. The Infinite Continuum. Chapter 31. The Spiral of Expansion. In a quiet garden, Vera sat contemplating the flowering vines that seemed to reach endlessly skyward. Like many before her, she had believed in the myth of limitation, that personal growth must eventually reach its ceiling, that dreams must know their bounds. Day after day, she watched her achievements with a cautious eye, waiting for the moment when progress would halt. Yet the universe holds a deeper wisdom. As you journey through the realms of consciousness, you discover that each summit reached reveals new horizons. What appears as a final destination from below transforms into a launching pad when attained. This is the sacred truth of infinite expansion. Consciousness knows no bounds because it flows from the limitless source itself. Your capacity for growth mirrors the universe's own nature. Just as space continues eternally, your potential for evolution stretches beyond all perceived barriers. Each breakthrough serves not as a final achievement, but as a gateway to greater possibilities previously invisible to your awareness. Clarence discovered this truth in his own way. As a craftsman, he had long judged his work against an imagined perfect standard, seeing only the vast gap between current skill and ultimate mastery. This perspective cast a shadow over every small victory, turning accomplishment into reminder of distance yet to travel. Then one morning, while shaping a piece of wood, he chose differently. Instead of measuring against perfection, he celebrated the subtle refinement in his technique. He honored each small improvement as evidence of growth rather than proof of inadequacy. As he shifted into appreciation, something remarkable occurred. His skills began evolving at an accelerated pace. This transformation reveals a fundamental principle. Appreciation is not merely gratitude, but a force that expands the field of possibility. When you celebrate each step forward, you activate a resonance with infinite potential. Your joy becomes a magnet drawing forth ever greater expression. Think of consciousness as an eternal spiral, each turn bringing you to a higher expression of your divine nature. There is no final revolution, no ultimate peak. Each new level of mastery simply attunes you to more subtle dimensions of capability waiting to unfold. Sacred practice. Feel gratitude as evidence of infinity, and trust that every fulfilled dream becomes a stepping stone for even lovelier creation, calling your name anew. Chapter 32. The Symphony of Collective Creation. Delilah once believed that bending reality was a private art, practiced in silence and perfected in solitude. She would sit alone in her small apartment, eyes closed, imagining light pouring into her life and reshaping circumstances like clay. At first, subtle shifts followed, unexpected kindness, timely opportunities, a sense of invisible orchestration. She thought she had discovered a personal gift, a solitary bridge between her mind and the living field of creation. Everything changed the evening she stepped into a circle of strangers gathered for meditation. The room was quiet, candles flickering against the walls, hearts breathing in unison. As their collective vision rose, something far greater than individual intention began to move. They did not merely imagine peace in their neighborhood, they felt it as already present. Within weeks, long-standing disputes between local families softened. Community meetings grew collaborative instead of combative. Delilah realized she was witnessing a principle far more expansive than personal manifestation. Unified intention magnifies vibrational amplitude beyond any single participant. What one heart whispers, many hearts can thunder into form. Martin later offered undeniable evidence of this truth. As director of a small-town choir, he invited his singers to gather in the park each Sunday afternoon. They did not perform for applause. Instead, they sang blessings over the grass, the trees, the benches where teenagers gathered at dusk. Their harmonies carried sincerity rather than spectacle. Over time, something remarkable unfolded. Incidents of vandalism declined. Tensions that once simmered in the evenings seemed to dissolve into an atmosphere of ease. The town did not change because of policy alone, but because a coherent field of goodwill had been generated and sustained. When hearts harmonize, fields coalesce. There is an architecture to shared consciousness. Just as sound waves merge into richer chords, aligned emotions interweave into a larger energetic pattern. The quantum field responds to coherence. When individuals join in clear, benevolent focus, they create a broadcast powerful enough to reorganize probability itself. Isolation limits amplitude. Unity expands it exponentially. Imagine linking unseen hands with every benevolent mind on earth, forming one luminous chorus conducting peace into shared experience. Feel the warmth of countless hearts synchronized in goodwill. Sense your own intention amplified by millions who silently wish for harmony. Rest in the knowing that together, your unified frequency ripples across the planet, weaving compassion into the fabric of collective reality. Practice. Close your eyes and imagine standing in a circle of light, surrounded by kind and compassionate souls across the earth. See invisible threads of golden energy linking your heart to theirs in perfect harmony. Breathe slowly and feel your intention for peace expanding beyond your body into the shared field. Whisper softly, "May all beings know safety, love, and unity," and sense millions echoing the same blessing. Rest in the awareness that together, your unified frequency is gently reshaping the world. Chapter 33. The Eternal Return to Now. In a quiet monastery garden, Sylvia wandered between meditation halls and sacred texts, convinced that enlightenment lay somewhere beyond her current location. For years she traveled to distant temples and studied with revered teachers, each time certain that the next destination would unlock the mysteries she sought. Yet transformation eluded her until the moment she ceased searching elsewhere and sank fully into the immediacy of her own breath. The truth reveals itself with stunning simplicity. All power dwells eternally in the present moment. What you seek is not waiting in some distant future or hidden in the past. It exists only in the infinite now. The past exists as memory, the future as imagination, both mere projections emanating from your present awareness. When you fully inhabit this moment, you stand at the intersection of all possibility. Consider how often you postpone your power, believing that circumstances must change before you can embody your desires. Yet the universe responds not to what might be, but to what is being now. Your current vibration creates your reality in this moment, and this moment is all that ever exists. Lionel discovered this truth through financial transformation. For years, he chased future security, always believing abundance lay in some upcoming deal or opportunity. His breakthrough came when he stopped postponing prosperity and began emanating wealth consciousness in his present experience. Rather than waiting to feel abundant once money arrived, he chose to radiate prosperity through his current awareness. Within weeks, unexpected opportunities and resources appeared, matching his immediate vibration. His story illuminates a fundamental principle. The universe can only deliver through the portal of the present moment. When you project your power into the future, you create perpetual waiting. When you claim your power now, reality must conform to match your current frequency. The present moment is not a stepping stone to somewhere else. It is the only point of power that exists. When you fully occupy this eternal now, you collapse the illusion of separation between where you are and where you wish to be. Your desired reality can only enter through the doorway of present awareness. Ancient practice. Sit quietly and feel the aliveness of this precise moment. Place your hand on your heart and smile, knowing that everything you seek already exists within your current awareness. Let each breath remind you that power resides only in the now. Your consciousness, fully present, becomes the portal through which all desires flow into manifestation. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. The power you seek has always resided in this eternal moment. Through these chapters, an ancient truth has revealed itself. Reality bends not to force, but to the frequency of your present awareness. Each teaching has illuminated how consciousness shapes circumstance, not through manipulation, but through harmony. You have witnessed how Sylvia's restless seeking transformed into profound peace when she finally embraced the now. This mirrors your own journey of discovery. The universe does not require you to chase enlightenment across distant horizons. It awaits your recognition in this very breath. The law of attraction operates through immediate awareness, not future longing. When Lionel ceased pursuing prosperity as a distant goal and instead embodied abundance in his current moment, manifestation followed naturally. His story teaches that creation responds not to what you want, but to what you are being now. The deepest magic lies not in controlling reality, but in dancing with it. Every principle shared here points to this fundamental truth. You are not separate from the universe you wish to influence. You are its living expression, its conscious participant, its co-creator, breathing in perfect synchronicity with infinite intelligence. Let this wisdom settle into your bones. The present moment is the only point of power. All transformation, all manifestation, all miracles spring from your willingness to be fully present to what is. The past cannot bind you. The future cannot taunt you. Only this sacred now holds the seeds of creation. This is not about manipulating reality, but about awakening to your role as its loving steward. As you embrace this moment with gentleness and joy, reality naturally aligns with your highest intentions. The universe bends most beautifully when your consciousness rests in loving presence. Remember, you are both the artist and the masterpiece, the dreamer and the dream. Every breath offers a fresh canvas, every heartbeat a new beginning. Reality remains infinitely responsive to the quality of your present awareness.
If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.